Imagine a man named Fletcher sitting on a jagged obsidian ridge under a fractured sky. Beside him coils Zoran, an ancient dragon whose voice rumbles like distant thunder across the valleys of Fletcher's mind. Zoran is there to expose a specific psychological glitch. The human nervous system has a habit of trying to amputate half of reality. When faced with the overwhelming complexity of life, our minds seek out false absolutes to make things feel safe and manageable. We do this by declaring a person, a political movement, or a personal tragedy as purely evil or entirely good. We strip away the nuance and force the world into rigid, isolated categories. To show Fletcher the alternative, Zoran exhales two distinct living flames into the air. One is a black fire that drinks light. The other is a white fire that births it. They begin spiraling around each other without touching. Looking at this passage from the story, Zoran points out the lie that breeds all ideological suffering, the belief that yin and yang are enemies locked in a duel, fighting for dominance. The exact moment we pick a side and declare one half of the universe superior to the other, our perception falls out of balance. We manufacture our own ideological suffering by refusing to see the whole picture. Further down this page, the text details the structural law of the Tao. The black flame suddenly births a white seed right at its core. In response, the white flame births a black seed within itself. Each side contains its opposite completely. This animation treats the symbol as structural physics. Removing one seed causes the system to lose its tension and collapse into a singularity. The universe requires this friction to move. Zoran explains that yin and yang are not moral categories of good and evil. They are ontological guardians. Their specific duty is to prevent any single phenomenon, whether it's political power or physical growth, from reaching absolute status and destroying the host. Reading this section of the text, Zoran illustrates this by showing Fletcher a vision of a forest completely consumed by wildfire. It looks like pure destruction. But here, at the top of the next page, we see the hidden biological mechanism at work. Deep within the blackened ruin, seeds that require extreme heat to germinate are finally cracked open. The destructive force of yang and the dormant state of yin conspire to trigger new life. This next paragraph outlines a second vision on a much larger social scale, a massive political scandal dominating global screens, creating widespread human anguish and the immediate erosion of public trust. Beneath that obvious harm, the scandal acts as sudden exposure. Sunlight reaches institutions that were previously hiding in the shadows. Watchdogs stir, and young minds are pushed toward integrity. Both the corruption and the correction occur through the exact same event. The guardians do not take sides, they take turns. When power concentrates too much, limitation awakens. When chaos spreads too far, structure returns. Empires fall and forests regrow through the exact same mechanism of balance. Moving to the third vision in the text, we scale this universal law down to human psychology. A man receives the news that his greatest dream has just been destroyed. His heart breaks. In that exact moment of devastation, a vast, luminous space opens up inside him. Because the pain is terrifying, most people immediately turn away from this uninvited space, missing the fact that the guardians have just cleared the ground for something new to grow. Dr. John DeMartini is a contemporary figure who recognized this primordial safeguard and built a practical framework so humans could stop actively resisting it. Looking closely at this passage, DeMartini's methodology provides a literal equation for perspective. It forces a person to list 14 tangible benefits within an apparent tragedy and 14 specific drawbacks within an apparent triumph. This animation illustrates how listing these specific, contrasting data points forces the mind to stop amputating reality. It physically brings the human nervous system back into phase with the natural balance of the universe. By neutralizing the emotional charge of an event, you reach a state of wu wei, effortless, right action. The ideological distortion dissolves, and you can act with clarity instead of reaction. You can test this framework yourself with an exercise called the Guardian Breath. Bring to mind a specific event, political, personal, or global, that still fills you with absolute certainty that it is entirely good or entirely bad. According to the practical exercise outlined here, divide a circle into 2 swirling halves. In the dark half, write down every verifiable benefit or unforeseen good that has emerged from the event. In the light half, list every cost, drawback, and shadow. As you visualize this process, shown here by the data nodes filling and balancing the circle, the instruction is to continue adding points to both sides until your mind finally falls silent and the emotional charge equalizes. This practice restores cosmic eyesight, clearing the fog of personal bias to reveal the actual structural reality of any situation. Back on the mountain, Zoran reveals to Fletcher that these forces have always guarded him. True harmony is found by simply asking one question. When you are certain something is purely destructive, where is the hidden seed of growth? The universe does not require your belief in this balance. It is neither merciful nor cruel. It is only relentlessly whole.